Budget Talks with Raina and Meg.
Welcome to Budget Talks with Raina and Meg, where we make sense out of your dollars. Today, our fabulous guest speaker is Luukia Smith, the CFT Secretary Treasurer.
Welcome, Luukia. Thank you so much for being here. We have a question for you. We were wondering in our budget talks, we know that solidarity is the foundation of labor unions in general, and CFT, the California Federation of Teachers, and AFT, the American Federation of Teachers, is how we achieve that solidarity on a state and a national level. But we were wondering, what does that actually look like?
Okay, so thanks for inviting me. And I think I want to, CFT, so we are an AFT local. That's our national organization that represents us, and they represent multiple educational, nursing, service employees across the nation. And at the state level, we have like you said, CFT. We also are affiliated with AFL-CIO at a national level and at the state level, and also at your local levels by county, your central labor councils. And it's in order to really put on any sort of big fight for anything, it really is great to have big organizations like AFT, AFL-CIO to back those things so that we can ensure we have labor-friendly people in office to help us through all of that. And all of that comes with a cost, right?
That's great. Thanks so much for that explanation. So in our last budget talk, we explained kind of where our members' money goes, and about half of that money goes to our parent organizations. So can you tell us what AFT and CFT does with that money to fight on our behalf?
Sure. So AFT at a national level, they're fighting labor fights and public education fights at a national level. So much of our money that we send to AFT, and if you talked about it, you saw the breakdown. Really, the amount that we send to AFT is considerably less than what we give to CFT, right? So AFT is getting a lot of money from all these different states, so they ask for less, but they are fighting for us at a national level, right? And they're doing that through legislation, through getting, helping with campaigns to make sure we elect labor-friendly, officials and that kind of stuff at the national. And they also have trainings. They have conferences to get people together. This COVID world has kind of messed stuff up. They have a big conference, AFT Teach, in the summer to help teachers with what they're doing in the classroom. They have the convention. There's always some workshops with that. They have a big PSRP conference, and that's the classified unit at the national level. So they have a conference for the classified also. At the CFT level, we have our field reps and our organizers that help our locals at the ground level. And so we hire employees with the money that our members send us to give that work back to our locals to make sure that they are sustainable, make sure that they're able to hit the ground running. And I hate saying fight the district, but sometimes it is a fight with the district on different things. We also have formula funding. So if a local has hired a staff member, there's a formula depending on how big your local is, and you can get a good chunk of your money back that you pay towards. So if you pay a salary, then you could get a percentage of that salary back into your local, so that you aren't paying for that staff personnel by yourself, right? We have a data person, Amy Schreck, who will analyze your local budget, analyze for negotiation, so it can help you do that fight at the table. When the district says, I don't have any money, Amy will find where they have money, right? She also has done a bunch of stuff with COVID-19. So when you were having to negotiate MOUs, she keeps her trigger thumb on what's happening day to day. I mean, even today, the governor made some changes, right? We have a legal defense fund. So if you end up in a big fight or an arbitration with your district, there's a program that you can apply for, and depending on what the fight is, if it's over like somebody losing their job unfairly, a third would come from your local, CFT would pay for a third, and AFT would pay for a third. So it's another way so that your local wouldn't have to pay for everything. And then we have a lot of training. We have Zev, who's our training director. And I just wanted to share, when I became a local president, I had never been part of our school union, so I knew nothing going in as president. So if it wasn't for CFT and AFT's training and our field rep that came and did, grievance, I don't know what a grievance was. What, I have to open my contract and look and see what processes are in there? Nothing. And so again, those dollars for those employees and for those trainings is where your money's being spent, and spent well. There's also just our legislative fights. I was telling you, at the state level, we have a whole legislative department. We have 3 people in there that specifically looks at ECT K-12, community college, classified. So they're trying to hone in on specific needs from each one of the divisions that we represent. So we have people walking up and down the halls in Sacramento fighting for our locals. And some of that legislative guidance and what they do comes from the locals on up. So we have committees, and maybe if your people wanted to be on a committee, they could be a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then just something small, there's on that, what you pointed out in your last video, that there's $1 million liability insurance that costs 35 cents a month. I don't know if you guys are doing that, but if a student happens to accuse you of something and you find yourself in a legal battle, this $1 million liability insurance for 35 cents a month, could potentially really come in handy. And then we also have an accidental death and dismemberment insurance for $5,000 for free. AFT pays for that first $5,000, and then it's 5 cents a month after that for additional $5,000 up to $25,000. So 20 cents a month could get you that. So those are little things and some big things that we do to try and give back to our members, because we want our locals to be successful. We want our members to have a good contract. We want, public education to be protected, right? So.
Well, thank you, Luukia, so much for helping us understand why our affiliation fees are so very important.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Visit.
Yes, I want to. I can't wait.
And to all of our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in once again. Stay classy, Cabrillo College.